Jeshua, what are your thoughts on patriarchy? Are women equal? So I had a question come in that was, Jeshua, what are your thoughts on patriarchy? Now, it's a great question, and the reason I think it's a great question is because there's a historical aspect of this, and then there's an equality aspect of this. And I find the whole question very interesting from both aspects. Historically, 2,000 years ago was absolutely a patriarchal time. It's usually said that societies are run by the strong, the people who can hold power with strength. But in reality, Jeshua himself was not a strong warrior type figure, as many were, but the time was ruled by the victors, the people in charge, the strong, and the men were always stronger than the women physically. And so it became a very patriarchal time. But the question is, what did Jeshua think of patriarchy? Jeshua was a very unique individual. Jeshua, when he would speak to the group, speak to the 12, the disciples, whatever you want to call them, he didn't discount the women that were around. He didn't discount any of those sort of situations. When you read the Gnostic Gospel of Mary, it's a very interesting text because she's bringing this information forward, and she's teaching some amazing things. And at the end of the book, Peter says, "Why should we listen to you? You're a woman. And why should we have this expression?" And Levi comes to her defense. It really shows that during that time, the people who were not awakened, were not understanding that we're all one with God, and male or female has no bearing on our oneness with God, that those people who were historically of the time would have the issue with, why should we listen to a woman? Because they're lesser citizens, lesser people in society. But Jeshua had many, many stories, and specifically, once again, in the Gnostic Gospel of Mary, where he refers to her as a man. He refers to her as being equal with a man. That's kind of what was being said in there when she was spoken of as a man, which meant she was equal in society to a man. When he was traveling, he came to the Samaritan woman at the well. Now, in the time period, he should never have spoken to another man's woman or a woman that was alone. He should never have been speaking to a Samaritan. He shouldn't have been traveling on the Sabbath, which he was in the story. So he was breaking all kinds of rules and speaking to this woman like quote unquote, telling her everything she ever did. Jeshua did not have an inkling of a doubt that women and men were equal. It would not be loving to think that women were lesser than men. And Jeshua's whole presence of being was to be loving, be of love, be of God, being one with God and expressing God in the world, and God is love. And so to express that one part of God is lesser than another part of God didn't fit into his theology. It didn't fit into his belief system, his idea of what his teachings were. God and I are one, and you and God are one, and we're all one in God. And if you're all one in God, no part of God is lesser than any other. So when it came to patriarchy, his take on it was very different. But you have to also remember, he was working with all these people of the time in a patriarchal society. So why is it you always see that all the disciples are men, and people are always telling me stories of the women disciples and apostles? Well, historically, that probably didn't happen, because you have to think of that time period like Afghanistan today. It's a very militant, patriarchal society. That's what it was 2,000 years ago. And he was dealing with Jewish men who believed in a patriarchal society, believed that Eve was made from Adam's rib and she was forever subjugated to him for that reason. That was their belief. That was their understanding of the place of men and women in the world, that women owed men because men gave up a rib to bring her to life. So what did Jeshua think of patriarchy? I don't think he thought much of it. I don't think he thought about it. And I think it was part of the problems that he had was he was flouting the rules and laws and the social aspects of the time openly, bluntly, speaking to the woman at the well. He was literally not in any way, shape, or form judging her as less and was bringing her an amazing conversation about everything she had ever done. I think he just loves. And that would be the expression of Jeshua that I wish we all would come back to, is that space of realizing we can all just be loving like he told us we could be. And it doesn't matter if you're male or female, black, white, gay, straight. There's no limitation to who you are. Express who you are fully. That's how he saw you, as you, not as a man or a woman or any of those other delineating factors that people of society will throw upon it to divide. Jeshua believed in oneness. There is no division in God. That's my thought on what Jeshua would think about patriarchy. Once again, let me end this by saying I do not channel Jeshua. These are just my thoughts of what Jeshua might think from my past life memories and my understanding of his teachings. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.